Imagine spending billions of dollars to develop a sophisticated anti-missile defense, only to have it defeated by drones worth a couple of $100s. Hi, I'm Hanan Lischinsky. Thanks for joining for another All Israel News update, where today we'll look at the role of drones, the role that cheap, locally produced drones have played in the wars here that Israel has been facing these last couple of months and even years. For the past decades, one of the main goals of Israel's defense system and defense industries has been to find solutions against the rockets that have been launched against Israel on several frontiers, from Syria, from Lebanon, from Gaza especially. And for this, Israel developed a sophisticated, probably one of the best in the world, anti-missile defense systems. We have the Iron Dome, of course, which is the most well-known, but there are other defense systems. For example, the Arrow and the David Sling that have created a whole umbrella over Israel's skies, and these systems are now able to defeat even large ballistic missile attacks like the ones that we saw from Iran a couple of months back, as well as the sporadic attacks from Yemen like we saw just last night here in Israel. But as has happened throughout history in warfare, someone always develops a new idea, a new kind of attack that will almost always defeat the best kind of defense. And that's what happened here in the last few years. As Israel was busy developing all of these systems, Iron Dome and the other ones, and was being admired around the world for its efforts, people started using cheap drones and started to defeat those sophisticated systems. The wake-up call about the drone threat came on October 7, like it did in so many other areas. Hamas used very cheaply commercial drones, some of them locally produced, some of them just bought from China or online markets, and used these small drones to carry grenades that then just flew above cameras, above border cannons, border machine guns, and just dropped grenades on them, and in this way even managed to take out tanks and other very sophisticated, very expensive equipment of the Israeli army. Even after the initial surprise, the initial assault, in the coming months and year until now, we've seen again and again that Israel's defense systems, the missile defense systems that are designed for rockets and missiles, have really struggled against these cheaply made drones from Hamas, from Hezbollah, also from the Yemeni Houthi rebels. And despite some of these drones, for example, from Yemen or from Iran, flying for thousands of miles until they get to Israel, still the defensive systems have continually struggled to defeat those drone attacks. Now, these drones, many of them are even commercially available across the West. You can just walk into any photography technical store and buy such a drone. They have several distinct advantages against these sophisticated defense systems. So for one, most of them are very small, which makes them difficult to detect in that way. Then, of course, they're often made of plastic, and this is also making it very difficult for them to be detected by radar. And in addition, they fly so slow that they can often be confused with birds, for example. So something that we saw in Israel a lot of times were false alarms, which later turned out to be flocks of bird or just single birds, apparently sometimes, that were being identified as drones because they look so similar on radar systems. In addition, most of these drones have electric motors, often powered by batteries, which again don't really give off a heat signature, so making it more difficult to detect that way. And also in the more sophisticated drones, you can program a pre-programmed flight route, so you don't have to be in radio contact with the drones, which is also easily detectable if you're sending radio signals to a drone. So despite these drones not being designed for warfare, they have turned out to be very effective in evading all of the systems that were designed to detect threats, aerial threats, and terror groups around the world have used them in very effective ways over the last years and decade maybe. As the Israeli defense system has struggled to adapt, to learn We've seen here in Israel a couple of times now over the past months these kind of cat and mouse games. So we can follow this by following the red alert apps that are very common here in Israel. So for example, you'll get a red alert in one area. The IDF will say that a hostile drone has been detected, but then apparently it turns out later often the drone is lost, contact is lost, and then you'll get a red alert siren in a whole other area, and it turns out that the drone has flown from here to there. The IDF has lost contact, then it reestablishes contact, and this makes it very, very difficult for the IDF and also for the Home Front Command to alert the Israeli civilians about what's going on. It's a very difficult decision to know where to trigger the alarms. So sometimes it has happened that the drone has been lost, contact has been lost, and then the IDF starts to, in ever widening circles, to trigger red alert sirens, sending thousands, tens or hundreds of thousands of civilians into the shelters because it doesn't know where the drone went. And again, you just have to imagine the investment of effort and money into finding this one drone that probably cost, $200, $500, possibly has been ordered online in some kind of Chinese website. So this is a really big problem, and it also has caused psychological problems and fears among some of the population, because increasingly people have the feeling that you never know where such a drone might strike, where it comes from. Just 1 or 2 weeks ago, we saw in Yavne, a town near the coast, that a drone just hit an apartment building without any prior warning. Apparently it flew from Yemen, so thousands of miles. It flew up the Arabian Peninsula over the sea and then came in from the east and struck this apartment building without the IDF being able to alert the citizens. So as you can imagine, this is a really serious problem. The IDF has been working to combat these threats, of course. And for example, in the north, on the front with Hezbollah, we've seen growing success in the IDF shooting down these drones. The IDF is also working on improving its radar capabilities, of course. There have been reports that the IDF is increasingly using AI technology to help the radar systems to distinguish between what is a bird, what is a drone, what is another kind of projectile maybe. And also the IDF has been reportedly working on improving its jamming capabilities, so electronic warfare, to not physically shoot down the drone, but electronically bring down aerial threats. So there is a lot of progress in these areas, but still the threat until now persists. So if we're looking to the future, the big hope in Israel is still the Iron Beam system. The Iron Beam is a laser-based system that is hoped will be able to shoot down everything from rockets, missiles, drones, possibly grenades as well. And this, in the coming years, could really be the solution to the drone problem. But as I said at the outset, warfare always changes. There will always be the next transformation, the next revolution. For now, the drone threat remains a serious threat, not just for Israel, but for other nations as well. And here in Israel, we hope that the Iron Beam system, as well as other technological advances, may be able to deal with this specific problem. Here at Our Israel News, we'll try to keep you updated about all the developments with drones, technology, anti-missile systems, and everything else that concerns Israel and the broader region. Let us know in the comment if you have more questions about this topic, about any other topic that you might have, and follow us on YouTube, all the other social media channels, and on allisrael.com.